There are a lot of different types of shawls, different shapes, different sizes. So when we're going to be doing a shawl for the month of January, we need to start by deciding which shawl we're going to do. Now, when I come up with design ideas in my head, I first start by drawing them out. I have an iPad where I just use the notepad section of the iPad, so not even any fancy apps or anything, it's just the notepad. And I will put up the grid. And like, full disclosure here, guys, this is like full behind the scenes right here. Next, I will get the dimensions. So here you already see that I've gotten the dimensions, but how did I get those dimensions? It's really tough to find the dimensions of shawls because they are all so different. So what you really want to do is just kind of go off of the dimensions of your own body. That's where that tape measure is really going to come into play. Almost, so 60 inches. We'll stop right there. I don't know. Maybe I'll add a few extra inches here, so that's where 60 inches hit. I might add 3 or 4 extra inches. Now for me, when I did that, it came out to wanting about 78 inches is what I found out when I did my whole like really measuring out how long I want my shawl to be. And then how wide I would want it to be, I came out with 20 inches minimum side to side, and then adding these borders that I wanted to do would make it 27 inches wide. Okay, that helps me a lot. It gives me dimensions so I know what I'm striving for, what I'm aiming for. We have the shape, we have the dimensions, we have an idea of what we want it to look like. Perfect. The next step is going to be playing around with the different stitches and seeing what stitch I even want to use in my shawl. Figuring out which crochet stitch we're going to use for the project is one of the most fun parts of the entire process. Unfortunately, it is the part that is the most fun, and we end up wanting to just dive right in, find a crochet stitch, and go. But we need to dial it back, we need to slow down, make those swatches. This is something I tell myself, I'm still working on it myself. So if you're like, no, I don't want to slow down, I don't want to make swatches, I feel ya, I hear ya, but I promise this is going to save you so much time and so much frustration. Let's go ahead and look through our stitches to find out which one looks fun. My books of inspiration, my go-to books are these two right here. So I got the Encyclopedia of Crochet by Donna Koolers and Crochet Stitch Dictionary by Sarah Hazel. There's a lot of different books, there's a lot of different inspirations. If you have a different stitch book that you really like to refer to, why don't you drop that in the comment section below this video so I can check it out and see if maybe I might replace one of these books with one that you have. When it comes to this shawl, I am going to want a stitch that is more condensed, one that is going to keep me warm. So that's what I'm going to look for when checking out this pattern. Also one that is going to work up really well in a rectangular shape. I did already do a little bit of looking ahead of time to speed up this process. And the stitch I really liked is called the sedge stitch. And what I'm going to do is I am going to test this out in a swatch form. So I'm not going to teach you the sedge stitch in this particular video. I plan on doing it in another Technique Tuesday, so watch out for that one. So I got my yarn here. I got my crochet hooks here. If you're like, Tiffany, what the heck? You need to explain what you're working with here. That's all in video one. Video one was gathering the materials for the shawl. So if you're curious about this gorgeous yarn, all the information is in video one, and the crochet hooks are just in relation to whatever yarn size that you are working with. So making my swatch, I think I'm going to go ahead because I want the pattern itself is already pretty condensed. I don't think I want to use the H8 5mm crochet hook because I think that will create an even more condensed stitch when it's already condensed. So I think I'm going to want it to be a little more drapey and comfortable as a shawl. So I'm going to go up to the J10 6mm crochet hook to make my swatch. And if I do all my dimensions, my count, and find out that the 6mm crochet hook is just too big, then I'll dial it down. But it'll tell me a lot of information just off that. So I'm going to work up a swatch real quick using the sedge stitch, and then I'm going to come back with you and we're going to figure out the numbers and if I can even use this stitch to make my pocket shawl. Okay, so I'm a little bummed, but at the same time super grateful that I did the swatch because I learned a lot of information that helped me so that way I didn't waste a lot of time and energy working on something that would never have worked. I worked the edge stitch in a swatch and found out that in order to just make the inner body of the pocket shawl, not including the pockets, not including the border on the sides, just that inner section right there, that I would need 1,716 yards of yarn to accomplish that. I only have 800 and something. That's it. So I don't even have half of the amount of yarn that I need for that inner section, which tells me it doesn't even matter if I switched the crochet stitch. There's no way that I have enough yarn to accomplish the pocket shawl that I want to make. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a pin in this design and make it another time because I love the design. I'm going to do it eventually, just not with this yarn. So I'm back at square one, figuring out what shawl shape that I want to play with this gorgeous, amazing yarn that I want to do something with. There are two shapes that I can think of right off the top of my head that I could start the shawl and wherever I ran out of yarn would be fine. It would still make for a beautiful shawl. The two different shapes that I can think of are the asymmetrical shawl, which is a triangle that's flat on the top. It starts at the point and you just increase on one side, and as you increase it grows and you create this like 90-degree triangle that looks like that. Super pretty, super easy to do. And there's also the regular triangle that's flat on the top, but then comes to a point in the middle. And both sides are identical. They both grow and expand, but they have a point in the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and make the asymmetrical shawl because that sounds a little more fun to me at this present moment. And I'm gonna go ahead and play with the I9 or 5.5 millimeter crochet hook with this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch up the stitches. I just did the bead stitch on Tuesday's Technique Tuesday, and I had a lot of fun with that stitch. It was super cute, super fun. I think I'm going to play with that one. I'm going to go ahead and see how that one will work up in an asymmetrical shawl. When it comes to an asymmetrical shawl, like I said, one side will be flat and the other side will increase. So only one side will increase. So grab a stitch marker so that way you can identify which side you are increasing and which side you're not. You don't want to mess those up. Stitch marker. Okay. To begin, I'm going to chain 2, and then for row 1, I'm going to make 4 single crochet stitches in the first chain. See if this works. We're playing. We're testing it out. This is all in the design process. 2, 3, 4. Row 2, we're making the bead stitch, so we start by chaining 3 and turning our work, skipping that first stitch space, double crochet in the second stitch space. If I'm moving too fast for you, or you're like, Tiffany, I don't know the bead stitch, just go to my Technique Tuesday video. It's a video on my YouTube channel right now. It has the stitch card you can print out with the whole pattern on it and everything. So if you want more information on the bead stitch, definitely refer to that video. And then the slanted cluster. Skip that next stitch space and double crochet in the last stitch space. Perfect. So that worked. Looks super cute. Because there's a lot going on with the bead stitch, I think I'm going to go ahead and leave the bead stitch alone to not increase on a bead stitch row. I'm just going to go ahead and increase on the single crochet rows because that'll be a lot easier for me to wrap my head around and control the pattern more regularly. So when it comes to the next row, row 3 is a single crochet row. I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to turn my work. I'll start by making 1 single crochet stitch in the first stitch space. I'm going to grab my stitch marker. I'm going to mark that stitch. This will be my increase side of the asymmetrical shawl. And then I'm going to make another single crochet stitch in that same stitch space for an increase, and continue making 1 single crochet stitch on the top of each stitch space across, including that third chain of the chain 3. So now I'm going to count my stitches. How many stitches do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dang it. I know that in order for me to make the bead stitch work, I need an even number of stitches or stitch spaces for me to work in. Well, if I did one more row of single crochets and I increased again, I would be at an even number. So let's play with this and see if that works. So I'm going to make one more row of single crochet stitches. I'm going to chain one. I'm going to turn my work. Single crochet, one, single crochet, two, single crochet, three, four, and in that last stitch space that I have a stitch marker in, I'm going to make two single crochet stitches. One, two, and you can choose if you want to move your stitch marker or if you want to just keep it on that side and know, okay, this is a side where I need to make sure I increase. Perfect. Okay, so that's the second row of single crochet stitches. There are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitch spaces. So now I should be able to work the bead stitch in the next row and everything should be fine. So I'm going to start by chaining 3. 1, 2, 3, turning my work. Okay, skipping the first stitch space, double crocheting in the next stitch space, working the slanted cluster. 4, 5, 7. Skipping a stitch space, double crochet in the next slanted cluster. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Great. Skip the next stitch space and double crochet in the very last stitch space. Beautiful. Awesome. It looks great and it worked. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows done. I'm going to keep working up this pattern a little bit further to see if it sticks, to see how it's growing, if I like it, and if I want to commit to this exact pattern and project for my shawl. Right now, the pattern I'm working is 2 rows of single crochets with increases on one side, and then 1 row of bead stitch. No increases. All right, I just finished working up a few sections here, 3 sections. I broke it all down, measured everything out, and I have all the information on how much yarn is in each one of these sections. Let's go ahead and work this out together and find out the math. So here I have the top of the asymmetrical shawl, which will be flat on the top. This will be row 1. Row 2 doesn't grow because it's literally just going to be the bead stitch. Row 3 and row 4 will increase. Oops, there's 3, 4. And then that will be section 1. Section 1. And then it will bead stitch, single crochet, single crochet. That is section 2. Then bead stitch doesn't grow, single crochet, single crochet. So that is section 3. Now section 1 ended up having 80 inches of yarn. Section 2 had 106 inches of yarn. And section 3 had 128 inches of yarn. All right, so let's find out the difference, how much yarn it grew per section. So here it grew 26 inches, and then here it grew 22 inches. Okay, so they're not the same, which is fine because there could be 1, human error, 2, it could be a tension thing. So there's a lot of things that could come into play here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to average these out and find the difference. So coming to the middle, there is approximately 24 inches of growth between each section. So now we know how much the yarn is going to grow per section. And if we were to continue to draw this out and see how big it was going to be, then we would be able to knock out how much yarn we will need for our project, or vice versa, how big we can grow our project with the amount of yarn that we have. So that is really, really cool to find out. Now let's go ahead and convert the inches into yards so we have something that we can actually work with here. So 80 inches divided by 12 equals 6.67 feet, divided by 3 equals 2.22 yards. All right, let's find out how much growth, how many yards of growth we're gonna have. So if we're gonna say 24 divided by 12 equals 2, okay, divided by 3 equals a fraction, equals 0.67 yards. That is how much we're gonna grow per section. Okay, so I would do, so section 1 equals 2.22 yards, and then it's going to grow 0.67. So that means section 2 should have, so plus 2.22, approximately 2.89 yards of yarn in that section. Okay, well, let's check out what section 2 had. So section 2 actually had 106 inches of yarn. So 106 divided by 12 equals 8.83 feet, divided by 3 equals 2.94 yards. So that's exactly how many yards of yarn I had in section 2, which is super close to what I would have predicted having. So I'd say that those two numbers, the fact that grow by 0.67 is pretty accurate. I'd say I'd be very comfortable with that. So then, yeah, I would say section 1 has this much yarn, section 2 has this much yarn, plus the growth. Section 3 should have this much yarn plus the growth. Section 4 should have this much yarn plus the growth. And you would just kind of add section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4, section 5, add them all together. And when you added all of the sections together, that would total the amount of yarn you would need for the project. So I'm going to have all of that information in the pattern writing section of this whole project. So please make sure you watch video 3, which is the next video of this shawl project, where I break down the entire pattern with you, how I write the pattern, the special information for the pattern, maybe even dive into some diagrams with you. We will see how much information I can share without going too crazy long. It's going to be a great video. I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching this video with me, seeing my process on how I fail, you know, doing the swatch and seeing, oh, well, dang it, the project that I wanted to do, it's not going to work. So I got to switch gears. And that's a very real thing with a lot of my projects. I have an intention and it just isn't going to work out. So how to switch gears in that regard. Oh gosh, I hope you learned something. I hope you got something out of this video. I'm really looking forward to video 3, guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll see you with the next one. Bye, guys.